maybe the question is, do consumers trust labels, or do they believe in the value proposition of presented by brand?
Right.
They do want to have more information, and hopefully they like the flavor, but they are truly committed to the right story. The spatial distance between producers and consumers is so great that not even the smiling and happy face of a coffee farmer on the packaging can create a feeling of closeness.
Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is the final episode of this 5-part series with Belen from Vuna Origin Consulting. Belen, we are talking in this series about the power of green coffee traders and buyers, specifically their power in the economic sustainability of our industry. The part that we haven't covered is the consumer. I would like to start this part of this discussion as we start to look at the impact that traders and buyers have on the consumer by asking you this question, which is, do you think that the consumer cares about where their coffee's coming from?
They do. Um, the question is, who- maybe the question is, do consumers trust labels, or do they believe in the value proposition of presented by brand?
Right.
They do want to have more information, and hopefully they like the flavor, but they are truly committed to the right story. The spatial distance between producers and consumers is so great that not even the smiling and happy face of a coffee farmer on the packaging can create a feeling of closeness. So it's
Right.
uh, so consumer is purchasing maybe this product, certified product. So and they know that a price must have been paid for it.
Hmm.
Eh, they buy quality coffee and they pay the price because they know it deserves it deserves the price they are buying, because the coffee itself meets certain standards about environment, about human rights, uh, and any other sustainability issue. So they want more information about their coffee.
Help me understand how somebody, and this is where my wish and hope that that a consumer wants information about coffee. Help me understand how someone that's drinking instant coffee cares about where that coffee is coming from. If Nestle sells 3,000 cups per second every
Is
day of every year, how does the consumer care where that's coming from?
um, instant coffee. It's it's what they have. I mean, I'm talking about a personal story. I was, as mentioned, I was born and raised in Ecuador, and
Hmm.
even though we live in this paradise in South America, re, rounded. I mean, I'm just looking at the window right now, and there are some beautiful coffee trees around me.
Nice.
And but on the other hand, I was drinking instant coffee all my life.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's just a matter of uh, presenting the coffee and the brand, and the commitment between the roaster and the retailer or wholesale, indicating that it's it's not only tasting well, it it's just about i- how this coffee is produced. Um, this coffee is belonging to a tree, is and these trees are planted in these countries, in these origins, in this part of the globe. So it's maybe understanding how coffee is produced, and how it's roasted. um, maybe that will change consumers' minds
Mhm.
um, on the way this product and this being is transformed because they just want basic information. Once they understand how this beautiful product is transformed, I mean, all, we all love chocolate,
Mhm.
and when we understand that there's a plant and there's the whole system behind the chocolate bar, we 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 love this particular brand. We just have more information about this. We buy coffee as a commodity, as it is. It's an instant coffee. It's like sugar or milk. It's a basic product right now. So, uh, but at some point, it's getting more pricey at
Mhm.
the shelf. It's sometimes I'm not getting the same instant coffee that I used to purchase 6 months ago, or maybe there is something going on.
There is.
So if I present this instant coffee and not as a kind of another commodity,
Mhm.
um, and I treat as a consumer as a coffee enthusiast, we all love coffee.
Yeah.
We all are coffee enthusiasts. I not treat this as a milk or bread in the breakfast in my morning routine. Um, that will change a lot. Um, Understanding it again, the basics of how it is produced, and maybe where is this produced? Or where is this? I mean, Ethiopia. Uh, Interesting. I heard by the news that there's something going on in Ethiopia. Yes, and there are floods, and maybe there's too dry, and they just learn more about the country, and they just learn about Ethiopia, coffee from Ethiopia. Okay, so they are just maybe more um, interested in the region. This is where the magic happen.
Right.
Their responsibility in their purchasing it's just great thing. Um, just a wake up in the morning and just ask, what am I eating? Is this safe? Is this organic? Is this good for my health? That's it.
Interestingly, I really I struggle with this idea that um, we have to tell the consumer about the producer, and you've made me think about that even more now that I think about instant coffee. Let me explain. The consumer purchases instant coffee, and Nestle put on the the
Package label.
jar, the packaging, they put on there a picture of a producer and they put a fair trade sticker or they put something on there. And that leaves the consumer free to buy that coffee because they feel that Nestle has done what's necessary to be responsible in their sustainability practices within the supply chain. And
Yes.
that seems like it alleviates that the consumer is trusting Nestle to take care of that. They don't really care about who the producer is. They don't really care very much about it at all. As long as that the label on there says that Nestle is doing this, the consumer wants to have a guilt-free coffee. And because Nestle is signaling to them, we've taken care of it for you, that's why they sell so much coffee. Folks, our first on demand workshop, How to Become a Coffee Consultant, is now available for you to learn at your own pace, and it comes with a certificate upon completion. Go to mapperforward.coffee/workshops or click the link in the show notes for more details. Support this podcast by supporting our sponsors because we've
Yes.
taken care of it for you and we've done it in a way that provides you a cheap product. So go ahead and buy it and question nothing. Why? Because Nestle supposedly is taking care of uh, sustainable business practices and purchasing practices in the way that they're presenting things. I don't know if they are or if they're not. I don't work for them. I don't see the contracts, etc., etc. But my point is the consumer is feels really good about making that purchase because Nestle has told them that that's what we're doing. They haven't necessarily told them who the producer is. They haven't told them very much about the producer. They've just shown them a picture of who the producer is and said, we participate well in the coffee supply chain.
And at the same time, Lee, they are hearing about these strikes uh, of Starbucks
Right.
employee. So yes, the each company has its own standards. Uh, there's a lot of ways to sell, to trade, and to present coffee by standards, direct trade. Anyway, so I would say it's a yes. If consumers they are victims of the mechanism that undermines the basic idea of well produced coffee. So we consumers are all victims. So it's I wouldn't say no. Uh, they have their own basic standards. Each company has. So at least we are informing something to the consumer. I had the experience working with these companies at origin with their specific suppliers, with their specific supply chains, and it was a whole thing from working with unorganized farmers and producers with no basic uh, um, working conditions to definitely a 160-degree change, not 80, but at 60. It was a totally game changing for all these workers at these specific private farms
Hmm.
and or independent smallholders working and source and providing coffee to all these multinationals. Um, so it's a first step. Uh, and consumers again need do they need to trust labels? And I would say yes. There's a system. There's a whole story behind it, and but we need to trust what is behind. But also, I need to we consumers we need to hear more the strikes, uh, uh, maybe uh, payment conditions to the people in Southeast Asia, in Indonesia right now, in Myanmar, they are just struggling for because there's political issues in that country,
Hmm.
and these multinationals they need to support them at origin, no matter what. So if I heard Myanmar, and I know that Myanmar is a huge supplier to Nestle,
Hmm.
I'm gonna read as a consumer and try to maybe just um, find the right information and said, hey, no, maybe they are not supporting coffee producers in Myanmar enough, and I'm buying an instant coffee from Myanmar. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
So as global citizens, we need to relate this. So yes, on labels, we need to trust labels, but I need to figure it out if 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 these labels were set up maybe a year ago, what is going on right now, and just being more informed. That will be our responsibility in the supply chain, um, and not only being the victims, but uh, taking serious purchasing power at the shelf.
Mhm.
Eh, mhm.
I hope so. I hope so. Now, Belen, I can't thank you enough for this series. This has been very informative. I've learnt a lot. I'm walking away from this series with a lot of questions. And World of Coffee is coming up. So there's going to be a lot of questions that I'm going to be asking from people at World of Coffee about this. So folks, if you're going to be at World of Coffee, please make sure you come and see us and say hi. Um, where can people find out more about you online? On your LinkedIn?
Y- Definitely on LinkedIn or yes, just following Vuna Origin Consulting website and on social
Great.
media as well.
Perfect.
We try to keep this up to date. And yes, I look forward to engaging in a thoughtful conversation, sharing insights,
Great.
and of course collectively working towards a more equitable and sustainable future for everybody. So yes,
I hope so too.
drink more coffee.
That's the
Eh,
big that's the big message here. I mean, at the end of the day, if we can't there are so many problems that need to be fixed in the supply chain. A lot of it starts to move if we get people drinking more coffee. Um, so thank you again, Belen. And I was wondering, would you sign off this episode with peace, love, and peanut butter for us?
Peace, love, and peanut butter for all of you. And can't wait to see you, Lee, again. And good luck at the world of coffee.
Thank you very much. I look forward to one day seeing you either here in
Definitely.
Dubai or somewhere in this amazing industry that we live in. Let's hope.
There you go.
Have an amazing rest of your day, everyone. Bye. Thanks, friends. If you enjoyed this video, here's what you should check out next. Consider supporting Map It Forward on Patreon and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell before you leave.